We are live in Egg, Switzerland, just outside Zurich, with these fabulous, fabulous rescued farm animals. And we are at an amazing sanctuary called HOF NARR with the founder, who is Sarah, and I don't want to mess up your name, so just tell me.
Heiligtag.
Sarah Heiligtag, an ethics teacher who, after trying to teach people about the ethics of, basically not torturing and eating animals, decided the best way to show that to them would be to show them actual animals. So before we get into the philosophy, which I think is fascinating, there are the pigs. Oh my gosh. Take a look at these guys. They are all the animals here, they are so happy. They are so loved. And look at this. Can I come in?
Yes, please.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, wow. Look at that baby. Hi, honey. Hi, sweetness. How are you? Having a nice nap on this beautiful, beautiful day. Look at that. Hello, baby. Look at you. You are so gorgeous. Oh, and you can see the smile. And it's so different from the poor, poor pigs that I see going to slaughter when I bear witness, along with many others at vigils. You see their terror as they are about to die. And this lucky guy or gal?
This is Mimi, a girl.
Mimi. Hi, Mimi. This lucky girl escaped that horrible fate. And just think, for those of you who are not plant-based, who are still eating animals, I want you to think of this face. I want you to think of this face as you go to sleep at night and as you wake up in the morning, and think about what you want your legacy to be as a human being. Do you really want to be responsible for killing this gentle, innocent soul who has eyelashes just like we do and who has a snout, and they dream too.
Yes,
they do dream, just like our dogs dream. Yeah. So as we sit here petting this lovely pig, maybe I'll just angle it a little bit like this. Bored. Oh yeah, I'm bored. Heard it all before from the other reporters who've come here. Maybe you could just come over a little bit closer and just tell me, because I love this shot, if you just sit down right there, what is the spirit and the philosophy behind this incredible, incredible sanctuary?
So the philosophy behind it is, first of all, to rescue animals directly from exploitation, especially farmed animals, and then with these animals together to educate people. Mm-hmm. Like, we have a lot of schools. We have up to 400 people coming a week.
400 people coming every week?
Yes, not every week, but many weeks.
Many weeks. Yeah. That's really astounding. And I think you're touching on something super important, because I have gone to many, many, many sanctuaries. And I think one of the most important things that sanctuaries need to focus on is bringing people to the sanctuary.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are some incredible sanctuaries that are quite remote. This one is very easy. If I can make it from Zurich train station here in under an hour, anybody can make it. Yes. I mean, it was so easy.
Yeah, that's the benefit.
Yeah, that's the benefit. Yeah, also. It's very important to be close to a city center or a main area. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, who's this? We don't want to ignore and be rude.
That's Bo, and I think Toby, the other one, is outside taking a bath.
Toby's taking a bath? Oh, wow.
I think.
So where was Mimi and Toby, where were they rescued from?
So a person who worked in the slaughterhouse in Switzerland, she changed her life. She became a vegan because she couldn't handle the screaming anymore of the pigs.
Yeah.
And that's why she said, the rest of my life I'm going to rescue pigs. I want people to meet pigs so they understand who they are. And of course that was in line with my philosophy. So I told her whenever she can rescue pigs, she can bring them here. And that's how she now for the rest of her life rescues pigs, and we take as many as we can.
So Mimi would have been in the slaughterhouse and turned into ham. And one of the things that really blows my mind that upsets me is there are so many sandwich places in the United States and Europe. In the United States it might be a Subway. In Europe it might be whatever, where they just put the ham in there without even, in other words, it's just a sandwich, it's a piece of bread with lettuce and tomato, and they don't realize that they have tortured and killed a beautiful animal like this just for a meaningless sandwich, and you don't even know what kind of animal is in there. It's, and they're all over Europe, like bread, you know, it's like a pastry shop with a bunch of sandwiches. And how do we tackle that? How do we get those people who mindlessly order this kind of stuff without even realizing that there was a former individual who had to die and whose carcass is sliced up in there? How do we get them to wake up?
I think first of all we have to start with the kids. That's why we have so many kids here, because they don't know. They don't know what they eat. Kids tell me, I don't eat meat. Because they eat, like you said, sliced stuff in sandwiches. They don't think it's an animal behind that. They never would do that if they could choose. It's for sure. I see kids all the time. They start crying. They say, what? I don't want to eat my friend and stuff. So we need to open people's eyes to make them see who they are actually eating.
Yes.
I think that's the main point.
Yes.
And it's like talking about it. It's like going to places like this. It's doing movies about it, doing vigils in front of the slaughterhouses, talk about it as much as we can to make people understand what they do and that it's not necessary. Absolutely.
And you know, when people sort of scoff at it, and that's what I don't understand. People sort of saying, well, you know, I'm important. I'm powerful. I'm smart. I'm dealing with more important things than your silly vegetarian vegan issue. But when you look at these faces and see that this is nature's creature, a being that is so intelligent, has the intelligence of a toddler human, and they are just, and she knows we're talking about her. She's like, really, keep going. Oh yes, more. But it's just, you could just see it in her face. The level of sophistication and understanding. She knows she's in a safe place. She's relaxing. When you see the pigs going to slaughter, as I have, arriving in the trucks, their expression is haunting.
Yes.
It's like, and you know what's really interesting is that people don't, a lot of people I know a lot of brave people who go often, but I know a lot of people who consider themselves animal lovers who will not go.
Yeah.
They will not go because they don't want to confront what they're doing. So maybe sanctuaries are a place for those people first.
Yes, because what we do is you can go and visit these animals and then you can tell them what's happening in the slaughterhouses, but also before. That's the life they spend is horrifying.
Oh.
You know, they are in tiny places, they stink, and they have like the best noses ever.
Yes.
They are the cleanest animals that I know.
Yes.
And if you tell people all that stuff and then they see the place they have here and what they like to do, then they are shocked. Everybody is shocked because no one actually wants that, you know?
Yeah.
It's really also, it's again talking.
Yes, and look, these are very clean animals. That's another, another myth that, oh, pigs are dirty. No, look at this pig. She's beautiful and clean. Yes, she is. And she is just so adorable. Please share this video with your pre-vegan friends. Just share it and just say, hey, check this out. Because people really need to see who they're killing. And, people don't want to. I rack my brain constantly. What's the way to get to my pre-vegan friends? People I've known since high school, people who are my friends and neighbors, and they say they love animals. They do. But then when I bring up the meat issue, they literally just almost turn and walk away. It's like they are so brainwashed, so conditioned. Today when I was walking around Zurich, going from vegan restaurant to vegan vegetarian restaurant, I was starting to try to count how many images of meat that I saw on signs and on commercials. And that's what it is people are brainwashed. And guess what? There are people making money off of this. Don't think it's because you're naturally a meat eater. It's because you are brainwashed by people who are making a ton of money off of killing these animals. So should we continue our tour? I could sit here with Mimi all day. I just love her. She is, one of the other things I want to say is that people cannot appreciate a statistic, but they can relate to one animal.
That's what I say. Yes.
Yes, like Esther the Wonder Pig.
Yes,
I'm sure you know
yes.
Esther. I think Mimi is right up there with Esther the Wonder Pig. I think we've got a new social media star in our hands. And I don't know if you've thought about doing live videos with Mimi every day and just, making her into a social media star, because I think it's one of the most effective ways, especially, young people, old people, when they start seeing the personality of these animals. And your Wi-Fi is good here. You could do it. I just spoke at the International Animal Rights Conference telling people with 7.6 billion human beings on this planet, there are too many people to convince one-on-one. We have to use social media.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, and you've got the star. A star is born. A star is discovered. The casting call. No. I mean, seriously, Mimi is, she's charismatic. She's got it, whatever it is. Right, Mimi? She goes, call my agent. Call my agent. I'm not talking to anybody right now. I've got too many projects in the pipeline. All right, my dear. I think you're absolutely sweet. And look at your beautiful little eyelashes. Eyelashes. Would anybody want to just torture and kill you for a ham sandwich? Dear God, wake up, people. Hey, that wasn't you, Mimi. I wasn't saying that you had to wake up. All right, so here we go. We're moving on in our incredible tour of HOF NARR. Thank you, Mimi. It was great meeting you, and you too. Now, we're going to go through the hay over here. All very clean hay. I mean, 150 animals, and they do an amazing job here, keeping everything pristine and beautiful. Hi, Toby. How are you? He's like, I'd like a little attention too, please. Oh, sorry. This is Toby. Wait a second. I got my names wrong. Hi, Toby. Hi, baby. How are you? I hear you were bathing. I hear you were taking a little bit of a bath. Hi, honey. How are you? Yeah, I do that too sometimes when I've got an itch. Hi. Wow.
He's the most talkative pig I know.
Oh, yeah? He's talkative?
Yeah, he's
Oh.
very talkative.
He likes to talk. What do you like to talk about, Tobster?
He likes to play games and tell me, for example, he likes to tell me the water is dirty, go and bring clean one, and then I go and do that, and then I have to bend down, for example, and then he knows where my goodies are, and he steals my goodies.
Oh, is that true?
Yes, he
Oh,
always
wow.
has new ideas. He's very clever.
Wow, Toby rescued, and how old is Toby?
Toby is 4 years old.
Toby's 4 years old, and one of the things that you notice is some of the animals that are killed in the slaughter that are just like Toby are a little smaller because they're babies.
Yes, they are
They're
always babies.
all babies.
Yeah.
So imagine you're ripped from your mother is kept in a crate, and then you are shipped off at 6 months old, never having seen the sky or touched grass, to slaughter, when you could be Toby here. Toby escaped that fate thanks to some caring people who used to work, a caring woman who used to work at a slaughterhouse and said she will never, ever, ever, ever allow that happen. She helped Toby and Mimi escape, and now she is doing everything she can to raise awareness about the horrors of factory farming. Please, dear God, share this with your pre-vegan friends to hopefully wake them up to the fact that they are just brainwashed. They are conditioned to do something mindlessly that's not good for them. Most of the ways that humans consume pigs is with processed meat, ham, hot dogs, bacon. Processed meat is officially cancer-causing, according to the World Health Organization. Hi, baby. Who's this one? Who's this?
This is Mimi again.
Oh, Mimi, you just woke up. Mimi woke up. Hi, Mimi. She's like, I'm a little groggy in the morning. I need a cup of coffee. Cappuccino with soy milk. So while we're killing them, they're killing us. Because processed meat, which is how most people consume pigs, and I don't even say meat anymore. I try not to. It's how most people consume pigs. That product is officially cancer-causing. So bye, guys. It was so nice hanging with you. You are just adorable. Absolutely adorable. I love all of you. And we're going to move on to the rest of the sanctuary. Bye-bye, Mimi. I want to see more of you. I want to wake up in LA and see more of Mimi. I really do. I think she's a social media star. Bye, honey. Okay.
Turns her head away.
Please don't eat them. That's all we're saying is please do not eat these guys. It's so unnecessary. It's so horrible for the environment. It's so horrible for our health. It's so torturous for them. And you just saw them. I mean, why would you want to do that if you don't have to? Why? Because you're brainwashed? Because you want to make rich people even richer? Okay? People who have private chefs who probably don't eat hot dogs? I know that. In fact, there was a book written about how the people who run the meat and dairy industries, the very wealthy people who aren't actually farmers, they all live in the big cities.
Yeah.
It's all warehouses now. There's no real farms anymore. That they don't eat that food. They have private chefs.
Yeah.
Okay. And who's this?
This is Antonio.
Antonio. Oh wow. Here, let me
have
get
to
past.
close. Yeah.
Okay. I just don't want to get a goat welcome with the hind legs. So where do I go? Here we go. How about this?
Yes.
There we go. Okay, we're here at the HOF NARR Sanctuary outside Zurich with Sarah, who is the founder and ethics teacher who decided the best way to teach ethics is to show people the animals that they are unnecessarily killing and eating, even though it's bad for them. It's bad for their health, it's bad for the environment, and it's torture for these innocent beings who didn't sign up to be on your plate or have their fur chopped off for you. Now, where did you get these? Where'd you get Antonio and his friends?
They all come from different dairy farms. So goat's milk is also like cow's milk is dairy, right? So some of the boys, they are useless, and most of the boys, like the calves, are useless, so they're just thrown away. And we had rescued quite a few boys, and then also we came up with the idea to rescue the moms, because the moms always have this separation problem. They are pregnant, and then the babies are taken away. And we said we cannot just rescue the baby, but we also have to rescue.
Well, let me say something. And, you know, some people get upset when I speak the truth. Oh, how dare you? You're upsetting me. All of the animals in factory farms are raped. As feminists, we need to wake up that this is the ultimate patriarchy. None of them are making love in these factory farms. Can you address that a little bit?
Well, yeah, it's like artificial insemination, you call it in Switzerland, and it's a guy with a catalog who has the best sperm, and he comes and he puts it into the cow or the goat. Mostly, not all of the goats, but most of the goats are impregnated like that.
I call it rape because it's sexual violation. I know you probably don't want to be too radical, so I'll stop.
I'm an ethics teacher.
Yes, an ethics teacher, yes. Well, sexually violated.
Against their will, that's for sure.
It's against their will, so that's a
painful,
violation.
And it's dangerous, and there's a lot of loss also happening. It doesn't work. And
Yes.
then if the mother cow or mother goat doesn't get pregnant or something, she gets slaughtered because of that. So there's a whole lot of violence. I mean, there is some of the worst chapters we have.
Yes. So what do you say to people, like women, like progressive women who consider themselves feminists, or people who consider themselves environmentalists, or people who consider themselves humanitarians? And we know that animals who eat far more than they produce as meat or dairy, they're eating pretty much a lot of the time that they're awake. It takes, for example, something like 25 pounds of grain to make 1 pound of steak. So for those people who say, well, I'm an environmentalist, I'm a feminist, and I'm a humanitarian, but I still eat meat because it's my personal choice, what do you say to those people?
I say that they are inconsistent or schizophrenic or something because they haven't thought about it maybe. Then I ask them the questions, have you ever thought about it? Do you think logically, or do you just don't think? Because if you think, then you have to change something in your life.
Yes, and what I say is, for all those people, they really are in absolute denial, because then the environmentalism and the feminism becomes a mere pose.
Yes.
It's a pose. It's like, oh, I'm going to be trendy and I'm going to call myself an environmentalist. But if you're eating animals, and animal agriculture, which it is the leading cause of climate change, you can't call yourself an environmentalist. How could you call yourself a feminist if you're co-signing the sexual violation of all the animals that you eat. How can you call yourself a humanitarian if your food choices are self-indulgent and are contributing to human world hunger while there's children dying of malnutrition? Please consider who you were eating. That's why we're here today. And these animals are so gorgeous. And you know, they're very gentle.
Yes.
So many of these systems that are put up, keeping them behind bars in prison, it's, oh, well, they're dangerous animals. These animals are, here I am. Look how gentle they are.
They are.
Look how gentle. Look how gentle. And they're so loving and forgiving. All of these animals have at one time been abused by human beings, and yet they are here just forgiving and gentle and giving love and accepting love. Gosh, we could learn so much from them. And who's this beauty over here?
This is Antonio again.
Oh, that's Antonio. Oh, Antonio. Very, very handsome. And then over here, who do we have here?
This is Gloria.
Gloria, that's the name of my sister. Gloria, hi, honey. Wow. I would love to get Gloria to watch this video. She's pretty good. She's down to pescatarian, I think, but with cheese. So she's got a ways to go, but she's, you know, it's a process, not an event. For some people, they just hear the information, they go vegan overnight.
Yes.
But for a lot of other people, it's a process.
Yeah.
So have you, in your tours here, have you seen people change? Have you seen people? Tell me about that.
So many people that live in cities and they don't connect to the animals that they are eating, once they connect here, it's like a shock. And some start with stopping to eat pork because they have seen pigs, or chicken because they have seen chicken, and then they go through the whole process. They start thinking about the other animals. Why would I eat cows, or why would I eat animals that I haven't seen here? And then they write me these emails, thank you so much for this day, it changed my life. Some really change, like you said, in a second, and some take 2 years, 3 years, but they do change. Many do change, and I have a pile of emails and phone calls and feedbacks that tell me this is really what I needed. It didn't work with just flyers and information on the internet or my friend telling me. I needed to see the animals and to see they are equals. They are. Others love dogs. Why would we love dogs and eat pigs? They make this connection, this kind of anti-carnist connection.
Yes.
Yes,
and we just heard from Dr. Melanie Joy at the International Animal Rights Conference, who coined the term carnism. Yes. And look at these guys. One's decided, I'm going to cool down. It's a hot day. I'm going to get underneath my cart here and just hang out. And the other one says, you know, I like to hang out and just stretch my legs. And hi, baby. How are you, honey? You're so pretty. Oh, and you're a little curious. She's like, what is that? Yes, it's so nice to meet you. And who's this?
This is Sammy. It's a boy, actually.
Sammy.
And
hi.
They usually would all have horns, right?
Yeah.
They are chopped away. That's why some people think it's a female or something.
Oh, they chopped his horns off.
Yeah.
That's just some of the things they do to these animals. You know, they castrate them. A lot of factory farm animals are castrated without anesthesia, pigs particularly. Imagine if you had your testicles ripped off, okay, or your private parts ripped off without anesthesia. That's what they do. They cut their tails off. They clip their teeth, all because they keep them in horribly confined conditions. And if they didn't do that, they would, bite, or they would scratch, or it's institutionalized torture. When do you think we're going to wake up? That's, I guess, my key question. When do you think that the human... What?
Me. I think we need to wake up as soon as possible, because otherwise there will be no chance to wake up anymore, because there will be the collapse. I say it like that because environmentally it's not possible to continue like that. Ethically, of course, it's not, and for our health it's not. So we need to wake up now. I give everybody the next 10 years we have to wake up. But better today.
Yes.
Than wait 10 years.
I'm giving people 8 years because... You know, Dr. Celeste Rouse says in 8 years we'll have no wildlife because we're destroying all the habitats to grow crops to feed all these animals because we're eating 50, 60, 70 billion animals. Imagine that. You can't relate to a statistic like a billion one of these beautiful beings. But that's what we're doing. We're killing billions. And when I try to talk to people, sometimes they say to me, oh, Jane, we know you're traumatized. You're so traumatized. Like, as if me giving the information is somehow a reflection on me, not on the fact that we're doing this. The denial mechanisms are so intense and so aggressive.
Yeah.
You're an ethics teacher, but you might have a little psychological, I think, understanding. How do we break through that sort of aggressive denial? It's not just denial, it's an aggressive denial.
Yeah, I think we do have to meet these animals. I repeat myself all the time, but I think at this stage we have to have many sanctuaries where people can go and see who we are talking about. Because then it's easy. You find all these traumatized dairy, ex-dairy animals, and that's what shocks people, really. Because they see, that's what I do to them. I traumatize them. And that's when they start thinking.
Wow.
And the vigils, I think also there's more and more vigils.
Yes.
If you can get people there who aren't vegan, of course,
Yeah.
yes, that helps.
Yes.
Or the footage you have,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's very important as
Yes.
well. And then combined, we
Yes.
have like all this kind of activism. Combined, that's the perfect solution. But we have to make it happen everywhere, every day, all the time.
And don't forget social media, because
Yes, that's
all of
part of
those,
it.
again, with 7.6 billion,
Yeah.
my whole thing is to go to these incredible places
Yeah.
where people are doing the hard work, and I do the kind of easy work of just jumping in and seeing what they're doing and then moving on to the next thing. But if you are not here, at least look into the eyes of this incredible being whose horns were ripped out and say, dear God, what is wrong with us as a species? Why are we so cruel? And even if I consider myself a good and decent person, am I the cruel one? Because, you know, the ultimate thing I will say is, well, people say, well, I didn't kill the animals myself. Well, it's the additional cowardice. Not only do you have not only are you co-signing and basically ordering the hit of these wonderful animals, but you don't have the whatever it takes to do it yourself. So you hire poor people who are often immigrants and who have no choice about what job they're going to have, and you tell them to do it. You tell them to do it, and they are the ones who get all sorts of problems. They get PTSD. They get, literally carpal tunnel syndrome from killing 7 days a week or 6 days a week or 5 days a week. You've talked to some people who work in factory farms. What do they go through?
Yeah, well, they are secondary traumatized sometimes, and I had just the other day, I had a guy on the phone, and he said, can you please help me to get out of here? And he's working in a slaughterhouse, and he's working with the Judas animals. I don't know if you know.
Yes,
Yes.
They the ones who get they
Yes,
lead the others in.
It's because the animals would never leave the truck to go inside the slaughterhouse, so sometimes they use a Judah animal to get the animals to, like, a leading goat or a leading whatever. And he said, it's like, I cannot watch this anymore. I need to get out of here, but I don't know how. And that's just one example. I have others. I have farmers who contact me and tell me it's so horrible, all the suffering every day. What can we do? How can we change? And there's also a lot of hope, of course. We do help them to change, to get organic vegan farms and to turn into farms that don't exploit animals anymore, but still produce food.
I want to thank you so much. You are brilliant, and I love your work. And all your team members. I think everybody here is my hero. I know, boy, I've been here a few hours, not even a few hours, less than an hour, and I could already get a sense of the enormous amount of work that it takes to take care of all these animals. I mean, I have 4 dogs and a cat, and sometimes that feels like a lot of work. And look what you're doing. You're caring for 150 animals of different species. We've met the goats and the pigs. There's also horses. So let's maybe wrap up the tour. I know you're busy. I don't want to keep you too long. And we'll head out to the horses and just get a sense of your entire, look, all the hay they have to have. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this. And I am just blown away. Everybody support the HOF NARR Sanctuary. Bye-bye, honey. Bye. Support the HOF NARR Sanctuary. This is a sanctuary that's doing such incredible work. And you've only met a few of the residents of the sanctuary. These are some beautiful little miniature ponies. who have also undoubtedly been rescued, as well as horses that are here. Hi, baby.
Yeah,
And
most horses are out on the field at the moment.
yeah.
So,
Just to wrap it up, wow, I am blown away. I want to end by going over here to the HOF NARR sign.
no chickens, no turkeys.
Oh yeah, we can see the chickens and turkeys. I just didn't want to keep you too long if you're busy, because I know.
It's not fair to them if we don't visit them.
Okay, it's not fair. Yeah, they'll be hurt. Their feelings will be hurt if we don't visit the chickens and the turkeys. Now, I also, want to say horses are also, even though we as a culture supposedly love horses, they're also subjected to tremendous abuse with carriage horses. And in the United States, the Bureau of Land Management is trying to run all the horses off wild lands because the Bureau of Land Management is controlled by Big Ag, which wants the cattle grazing in those areas. There's a war on animals, and people who eat meat and dairy are funding it. Okay, so look at it that way. You are the funders of the war on animals. That's another way to look at it. Hi, babies. Oh, wow. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. How are you? Look at these great guys. Hi. Look at this one. Hey, baby. How are you? Hi. I'm going to just sit down nice and low so I can get to know everybody. And these are some of the rescued chickens. So when you order a chicken salad sandwich and you don't think twice about it, know that you are killing. And there's a premise in criminal law, and there are the duckies, the ducks, and ducks are so friendly. Hi guys, how are you? Hey, how are you? Wow, this is fantastic. Wow, I agree. But people who just order a chicken salad sandwich, or they say, I'm a vegetarian, I only eat chicken. Hello, you can't be a vegetarian and eat chicken.
But even the eggs, right? They are egg industry is like
yes.
Terrible industry as well.
The egg industry is a horrific industry, and you can tell us a little bit about why.
So, for example, these laying hens, they had to lay 320 eggs a year. In nature, they would only lay like 10 or 12. So that's, for their bodies, it's a lot of stress. And then their male brothers, they are slaughtered right away after birth. So we don't need the males, we just want the females because of the eggs. That's horrible as well. And then they are kept in these huge places, which is pure stress, because chickens, they can only divide between 50 to 80 individuals, and they live with thousands and thousands, and it's crazy, full of stress all day. Even if they could go outside, they don't go outside. They get stuck. They want to stay there and see their family members instead of going out and not finding their place in the crowd again. So
right, it's like if you had a daughter and you were in a packed subway, and somebody said, well, you could go outside. Well, you can't go outside. You'll lose your daughter and then come back and be alone. I mean, it's a sociopathic system. It's institutionalized cruelty from beginning to end. And the egg industry is super cruel. And, all the male chicks are killed. They are ground up alive. There's a grinder. And if you don't believe me, Google it. The videos will come up in 2 seconds flat. They grind them up alive. In fact, in Israel once, there was a protest at one of these grinding facilities, and the police were called, and the protesters said, well, you press the button and grind up all the baby chicks, and the police officer couldn't do it. It's a famous scene out of an Israeli animal rights documentary. So these animals are curious, they're intelligent. We love to demonize. Pigs are dirty, and chickens are stupid, and but they're not. They're not, and they're individuals, and they didn't ask to die, and they have a right to their own lives. Please share this video with your pre-vegan friends. Share it and just ask them to just watch it. Just take it in.
What I also like to ask you, because Thanksgiving is coming up.
Okay, yes, and I want to get you in the sun. Hold on a second. Look at that beauty. Okay. Look at this beauty. Look at this beauty.
One of our rescued turkeys. And
yes.
we eat not we, but people eat turkeys all the time, but especially for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We kill a whole animal and stuff it up with stuff. Why? It's like the most intelligent person I've seen.
Yes.
From all this flock here.
Yes.
It's an amazing personality behind.
Yes.
And to celebrate, say thank you to nature or whatever. Why do we have to kill an animal like that?
We're primitive and barbaric, and we're conditioned and brainwashed, and people are too scared to go outside the box. They think, oh, I'm not going to be happy if I don't go through this tradition. And if the tradition involves killing an animal, oh, well, I'm not going to think about it. It's inconvenient to think about. But it's not something that you would like them to forget. Okay, I know how intelligent turkeys are. We go to a party in LA that a woman has live turkeys, and you know what? They joined our dinner party, and when we laughed, they laughed. And they actually sat by and listened to the conversation. They are such sophisticated, beautiful, intelligent animals. And the turkeys that are going to be slaughtered for Thanksgiving have just been born recently.
Yes,
There was a story. They kill them as babies. Yeah. All the animals you're eating are babies. Yeah. They're baby pigs, they're baby lambs, they're baby turkeys. It's a hideous, vile system. And I don't know what magic words are going to make people wake up. I really don't. It's also completely destroying our environment. And these animals eat far more than they produce as food. We're destroying forests to grow crops. You know, when you get in a plane these days, you look down, you used to see a lot of forests. Now you just see cropland, cropland, cropland. We're giving planet Earth a buzz cut to grow crops to feed these animals that we are artificially inseminating, sexually violating into existence. I don't care what you call it, but don't call yourself a feminist if you're eating them. Don't call yourself an environmentalist if you're eating them. Don't call yourself a humanitarian if you're eating them. If you're going to eat it, say, I'm doing something that is unnecessary and cruel, and I'm going to do it anyway because that's what I have the right to do. And it's not, people, once I was at I came out and somebody was grilling, one of my neighbors, and I said, no, thank you. I'm a vegan. And he said, but it's a choice.
Yeah.
And, I walk away, thought, it's not a choice when there's a victim any more than murder of a human being is a choice. Sure, on a technical, if I choose to kill another human being, it's a choice. But it's not how the criminal justice system regards it. It's not a choice when there's a victim.
Yes.
It's an act is what it is.
And also, I like to ask a question. When you have kids, do you really care about them if you eat meat? Because you're destroying their planet. So your kids will not have a future. So if you're a parent, you should ask yourself the question, do I care about my kids? Do I care about their future? If you do, then you would become vegan right away, because that's the only solution.
Yes. Part of the problem is the media is not reinforcing, because look at the media. They're being funded by the meat and dairy industry. And some of the nonprofits aren't reinforcing because they're also getting money from the meat and dairy industry. Cowspiracy documented that. Some of the big environmental groups are getting funded by the meat and dairy industry, which is what is causing the environmental wreckage. So we've got a very corrupt system.
Yeah, and we have a big lobby, of course.
Of course.
There's always working against change, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So you cannot blame all the individuals, but you can ask the questions. Please ask yourself questions. Please ask why the system is like it is, and then maybe make your own choices.
And the final thing I'll say before we wrap it up, and that what a beautiful little animal. And somebody here was taking a little dirt bath. Yes. Hi, baby. Yes, they like to take a little bath. Look at that. Hi, honey. He says, yeah, it's called a dirt bath, and I like it. What do you want to say? What are you going to make of it? And I just like you to think about the fact that, all of this is so unnecessary. While I've been in Europe, I've been profiling vegan restaurant after vegan restaurant. Incredible food choices. Today we were at a vegan restaurant called The Sacred, and The Sacred has incredible vegan food and a buffet that is absolutely fantastic. Yesterday I was at the Europe's first vegetarian restaurant that has a fabulous buffet, much of it vegan. I mean, there are so many choices. There are cashew cheeses, there are nut cheeses. We have to educate ourselves, and we have to just make compassionate choices or pay the consequences. You know, we have tremendous depression in our society. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to sit here next to some chickens, and maybe you could just be right next to me while I wrap it up. We didn't really get to the ducks, which I really would love to see. It's hard to wrap this up when there's so many beautiful, beautiful animals here. Hi, babies. How are you? We've got some beautiful ducks here. And we do terrible things to ducks, too, for foie gras and all sorts of other things. There is another way. There really is. We don't need to be vicious as a species and basically shrug our shoulders and say, well, I don't care. I'm not thinking about it. Let's change the subject. A lot of my friends just want to change the subject. And they get very angry when I try to say that, hey, it's killing, it's bloody, they just get super angry. They don't want to acknowledge that indeed, oh, look at these guys. I love the way they walk.
Yeah.
Where are they going?
They find the others.
They're looking for their friends.
Yes.
They said, okay, yeah, we're going to go find our friends. There they are. How sweet. Look at them. There we go. Look at these beautiful ducks. Oh, wow. This is such a fabulous place. I just love it so much. It's just been really, really, really amazing to see, because it's also very accessible. You know, you set it up is very accessible to people. Like, we've walked in, we've met the animals. I just want to say, please wake up from your conditioning. Your resistance really isn't you. It's your conditioning. The thousands of commercials you see every day telling you to do something that you really don't need to do. You've told yourself you can't stop, and you don't want to stop, but it's not really you saying that. It's the conditioning. You're more than just a consumer that's going to follow orders. Okay, you've been ordered to eat meat and dairy so that rich people can get even richer, while we destroy the planet and ultimately destroy them too. What I was going to say is there's a lot of depression, and I feel that it has a lot to do with the fact that people are killing so much, and on some level they know they're killing. There's no way you can kill day in and day out and eat animal carcasses and not know that you're killing. So then they give people drugs, antidepressants, and then people overdose on the antidepressants. Look, I thought I could never go without alcohol, and now I'm 23 years sober. You don't need to continue killing. You get that meat, those dead animals off your plate and the dead animal byproducts. Peace begins on your plate, and the living proof is here at the HOF NARR Sanctuary. I'm here with Sarah. Thank you for giving us the tour. Please support the HOF NARR Sanctuary in Egg, Switzerland. And if you're in Zurich, come visit.
Yes, please come.